What if the most valuable part of owning a vacation home isn't the real estate itself, but the moments the house makes possible? Just in time for the holidays, today's expert episode explores how to make the most of the time we share with the people we love and how to capture those memories to last a lifetime. What if your 401k came with a fire pit and a lake view? That's the question that inspired it all. I'm Katie Klein, and living in New York City meant buying a home felt impossible. So I decided to flip the script and buy my second home first. When I'm not there, it doubles as a short-term rental, covering its costs, building equity, and even turning a profit. And best of all, it gives me a place to vacation for free. What 401k can do that? Every week, join me as we hear from real people who've done the same and experts who can help you do it too. If you thought owning any home, let alone a second one, was out of reach, this is the show for you. This is Second Home First. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Second Home First. I'm your host, Katie Klein, and today we have a really special expert episode for you all, one that is perfect for this time of year. Today, we're talking about the power of memories, how time away allows us to create meaningful connections, ways to make the most out of time spent with people we love, and how capturing those moments can make them last long after a trip is over. That's really why most of us want to buy a vacation home in the first place. Sure, it's a smart investment path to building wealth, but it's also a place to slow down, spend time together, and create memories we'll want to relive again and again. My guest today knows a lot about this. Nicole Smith is the founder and CEO of Flytographer, a company that connects travelers with professional photographers all over the world. So without further ado, let's hear from Nicole. Nicole, you built Flytographer after realizing the best part of travel isn't the destination, but the memories that we make with the people we're with. Can you share the story of how the idea for Flytographer first came to you and how it shaped the vision of the company today?
The idea came to me in the streets of Paris in October 2011. And I was basically solving my own problems. So I was in Paris on a work trip. My best friend met me for the weekend. We had these two perfect days together without husbands or kids, just literally frolicking and exploring the streets. And we thought, this is such a great moment. We want to remember it. So I think this happens to a lot of us when we're on vacation, where you're in that moment and you're like, this is so great. And I want to remember this feeling. And so we were trying to take selfies, which is what people typically do when they're on vacation. And it was like disaster after disaster with like seven chins and heads cut off and strangers taking shots that just, weren't good. And then we ran into a local friend and I handed her my iPhone and I asked her, I mean, I kind of directed her, but I asked her if she wouldn't mind taking a few shots of us from a distance. So Eric and I would walk down the cobblestones, and I wanted to capture the Parisian architecture as that third character in the story. And so, with a little bit of like kind of direction, our backs were to the camera, we're walking away, but it told the story of Paris. It told the story of us together. And so, when I looked back at that photo, I got goosebumps because she had captured our story. She had captured the feeling and the spirit of the trip and that beautiful moment with my best friend. And so I came home to Canada and I thought, how do I do this? Is the best souvenir. How do I do this on a future trip? And that's sort of when the wheels for Flytographer got started.
It is the best souvenir. I mean, I think about all the trinkets I've bought over the years and they go by the wayside, but it's the photos that we keep coming back to. And within that founding story, we hear a lot about the importance of knowing your why when it comes to achieving a big goal, like buying a vacation home or, in your case, starting a company. What has been your why in building Phytographer, and what advice would you give listeners for identifying theirs and maybe doubling down on it too?
I think my why for Flytographer was I just wanted to capture the stories that I wanna remember forever, and so I wanna help people capture their favorite stories forever, and so through photography, they're able to capture these moments in destinations all over the world in with like in a beautiful way through professional photography and be able to then take that photo, frame it on the wall, and every time you walk to get coffee in the morning or your kids walk by, they can look up at that photo and say, "Oh, remember that time we were in that amazing place together?" And so that is really my why is helping people remember their favorite stories forever. And in terms of like how I would advise listeners to find theirs, I think it goes back to really just getting clear on your intentions. What is it that you want to accomplish? What is it that you want to feel? And really trusting your instincts and figuring it out based on that sort of clear vision of what are you intending to do.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. Finding the right cleaning team has been absolutely crucial to the success of my second homes. They're my eyes and ears on the property when I'm not there, spotting issues early, keeping standards high, and helping me wow guests time and again. But finding someone local you actually trust? That wasn't always easy until I found Turno. Turno connects you with vetted cleaners who understand the demands of short term rentals in your specific market. Their app makes everything simple, from auto scheduling your cleans to photo and video checklists that ensure your property looks exactly the way you want, and even automatic payments after each clean is completed. Click the link in the show notes to check out Turno and get $25 off your first cleaning. When I was finally ready to rent out my vacation home, I had no idea what to charge guests. Thankfully, that's when I found Price Labs, a dynamic pricing tool that helps me automate pricing like a pro. It's simple. Price Labs uses real time data to automatically adjust my rates based on local demand, nearby events, and booking trends. It's easy to use, lets me set my own minimum and maximum prices, and keeps my pricing smart and competitive without any manual work. If you want your vacation home to pay for itself or even turn a profit, you need Price Labs to help you get the most from every booking. Visit the link in the show notes and enter code Second Home First, all one word, for a 30-day free trial plus $10 off your first invoice. And now back to the show. You have seen firsthand how powerful great photos can be, whether it be in the company's founding story or even that example that you were just giving. For someone who owns or hopes to own a vacation home, how can they think more intentionally about capturing it and the memories made within it?
I think there's like two sides to it. One is capturing like the physical space itself, and the other one is thinking about those micro moments or storytelling vignettes, if you will, that would happen there. So when you think about a vacation home, and if it's one for your family or one that you're thinking of marketing to, and selling to other people, in any case, thinking about it in those two lenses, because when you're thinking about capturing memories, capturing like, shots of like the space inside this the space from the road, the space from like all these different angles is, more the technical photography side. But I would really encourage people to think beyond that. What is the mood or feeling that you want people to have in this space? And how can you use photography to tell that story, to capture that story? Think about it from different times of day, like golden hour versus, in morning versus end of day, and be able to like tell the stories of who's there and what are the feelings that they're going to have while they're there.
That is such good advice. I just was thinking about our place in the Finger Lakes, and we have this great terrace looking over the water. And I wanted to have a fire table out there because I was thinking of the mood and the vibe that I wanted to have for myself and my family when we were there. And being able to capture that properly, I have had 2 of my guests say they specifically chose my property because of the fire table. So I think you're right. Like, how do we bring the mood of the vacation home that attracted us in the first place, capture that not only for our memories, but also for marketing collateral too? But when you think about photography, and like you were saying in the founding story of selfies and double chins, what do you think some of the biggest mistakes people make when they're trying to take their own photos?
I think some of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to take their own photos are a few things. Number one is hesitation, like not taking it at all or just taking one. And There's no perfect moment. So I always encourage people to take multiple photos, put it in burst mode, and just like take it. Don't hesitate. You can always delete it if it's not good. But I think overthinking it or not taking it all is the biggest mistake because that moment's lost. I think the second thing is just doing this sort of rote, okay, everyone stand together and everyone's arms are like stiff side by side. That's not your family. That's not your friends. You don't hang out like that, right? And it's so awkward for everybody. And I think the way to get around that is to become a little mini director. And the more you practice this muscle, the better and more fun it gets. My kids are very used to it, as are my friends. But you want to tell a story and you want to be able to like get a little goofy or silly or have fun with it and encourage people to like take action or do things. So instead of just again that stiff photo, think about like, is there a couch that you all sit on and read books together and say, okay, sit there and I'm going to do this and give them a bit of direction. And sometimes the best photos come in between these sort of like, we call them planned candids, but the moments in between when people are laughing and so capture all of that. And then you'll just have a lot of choice to look through. I think the third thing is not just taking pictures of people that are, posed or directed, but also taking photos of meaningful things, moments, rituals, article or objects, and thinking of the backdrop as that third character. How are you telling the story of where you get your coffee every morning or a little nook that you love to read in? There's so many little like rituals. Maybe it's you all play a card game together, capturing photos of those as well as the people, I think tell the full story. And I mean, obviously there's like technical like lighting and composition, but I think those first two things is a good way to start.
Definitely. I know you've said before that Flytographer is really all about storytelling or capturing these stories that we're living every day. How can homeowners use that same storytelling mindset at their vacation home? And maybe it could be in the interior design, the marketing of the property, or even in the way that they share it with their family and their friends.
I think this is such a great question. And I think about this a lot because I have friends who have like lake houses that we gather at with our kids and whatnot. And, some of the things I've seen work really well are capturing moments and the place itself. So, not just capturing the big events, but like we talked about earlier, the dock at sunset, the kitchen where everyone gathers, the worn Adirondack chairs, whatever the things are. And I think, the other thing that's really fun is when you can document annual rituals. So if there's something that happens, maybe it's a competition or a cook-off, or what are the rituals that tie the people to that place that come back every year that they look forward to, capture those in some way and you know, print it. Like those are kind of the things that really are what makes life, really exciting and fun. And then, make sure that you're being like directive, like I said. So like don't just like expect it to happen. You have to kind of be proactive around it. And I would say share the photos, display them. And so when you're thinking about how you want to tell the stories on the walls of your vacation home, for example, think about what do you want to look at? What's going to bring you joy? Who are the people that you want to see in these photos? And really think about having that beautiful visual record of all the traditions that you've built in that home on the walls framed as well. I think that's an afterthought for a lot of people.
Yeah, like you said earlier, we have so many photos on our phones, and then sometimes they don't go anywhere. So I love what you're saying about printing them for your primary home or potentially for your vacation home. Even something I've done after a flytographer shoot with friends at a vacation home was to get books made and use that as then the next year's Christmas gift of, hey, remember these memories that we had together, really using that moment to preserve it in a way.
It's a really great gift, and often, I have friends who have homes that they rent out, and what they'll do is they have the frames with their family photos, and then they just put a neutral city shot over their family photo, every time they rent it out, so they don't always have to, live in a place that feels, like, sterile or not their family. It's like a quick swapsies, and then it's done, so I think that's also a good tip.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. You finally bought your dream vacation home. Now what? Your goal is for it to pay for itself, but between managing bookings, guest messages, and cleaners, it can feel like a full time job. That's where Lodify comes in. Lodify is a comprehensive vacation rental platform that makes it easy to manage and market your second home, even if you're just getting started. From syncing your calendar across Airbnb, Vrbo, and Booking.com to automating payments and guest communication, Lodify simplifies it all. It's built for beginners and comes with free one on one onboarding to help you get up and running fast. To make your second home start working for you, visit the link in the show notes and use code SHF20, that's S as in second, H as in home, F as in first, 20, to receive an additional 20% off their yearly and bi yearly plans. If you're listening to the show, I know making memories with family and friends is super important to you. And that's why I'm excited to introduce you to Flytographer. Flytographer connects travelers with local photographers in more than 350 destinations around the world. But it's more than just a photo shoot. It's a way to capture meaningful memories and experience a place through a local's lens. When I look back on past Flytographer photo shoots I've done, I don't just see pictures, but special moments preserved. I remember the feeling of that day and the story behind every shot. Whether you're celebrating a milestone birthday, a family vacation, or a special getaway to your second home, Flytographer is there to capture the moments you never want to forget. To book your own Flytographer shoot, visit the link in the show notes and use code SHF25. That's S as in second, H as in home, F as in first, 25 to get $25 off your first shoot. Interior design is one of my favorite parts of buying a second home. I love creating a beautiful space. But let's be honest, staying on budget, managing orders, tracking deliveries, and juggling countless retailers can get overwhelming fast, which is why so many hosts turn to Minoan. With Minoan, you can shop more than 180 brands you love all in one place. That's brands like Crate and Barrel, Samsung, Anthropologie, Article, Casper, and so many more. They give you access to better than trade pricing, something typically reserved for professional designers, allowing you to save on every purchase. They keep every order, delivery, and receipt organized in one clean dashboard. And the best part, there's no membership fee, no subscription, no catch, just a streamlined approach with big savings. Once your second home is set up, Minoan can even make it shoppable. Your place basically becomes a four walled influencer. So after guests spend a weekend obsessing over your couch or those sheets or that coffee maker, they can scan your QR code and order the exact same item for their own home. You earn a commission, no extra work required. To furnish smarter, visit minoan.com/second home to sign up and receive a free $25 in credit. And now back to the show. That is a great tip. When you think about memories you've made at your friends' lake houses or maybe vacation homes that you've rented, what comes to mind? Are there certain key aspects that really make a house super special to you?
Oh, yeah. So I have this friend who bought a lake house during the pandemic, and over the last 4 summers has really built it into this magical little spot. And a group of us moms started taking our sons there. And this year they all graduated high school, and so there was, instead of like 4 of them, there was like 12 of them and us 3 moms, and we were cooking for them, and they went boating and horse played on the dock. But what struck me about this moment was we've been coming here for years. It's incredibly sentimental. I look forward to it every year, and there's like certain moments that like are real highlights for me. So playing crib on the dock while we watch the boys like swimming around, or cooking for everyone, and all of them coming up in a big train and going through the food and eating it all. And so there's like these little moments that I think about each year when we go up. And so taking little photos, but also I would say taking little video vignettes. It's not just the photos and the candid photos. And like I said, direct them a bit, get the content. No one will regret it afterwards, but also think about little video clips, even like 2 or 3 seconds. So maybe it's grandpa's laugh, or maybe it's, playing with a board game with the cousins, taking little video snippets so you have the sounds as well as the visuals, and really think about those headline moments or highlight moments that you've had in these places that you want to tell the story of, and capture that year after year.
Yeah. Something you touched on there that I think is really the big why for a lot of people of wanting to own a vacation home is these places become a really good marker of time. So you've gone for so many summers, and now you have this really big occasion, a high school graduation. I mean, that is like a huge life moment that these boys and you guys will always remember. But you're also comparing it to all of the other years you've come. And I think about my first vacation home. We bought that when my daughter was about 1 years old. Now she's 3.5, and saying, "Oh my gosh, she used to sleep in the crib over there, and now the pack and play is back in our room because her brother has joined us." It's really just a way to kind of pause you and make you say, "Wow, look at, like, what has happened and, like, imagine what is still to come."
It that is such a great way to put it. A vacation home, it's like a container for memories, and I remember when we first started going to the lake house, we were all taller than the boys, and now they're all taller than us. So you see the markings of the passage of time and,
Exactly.
yeah, so it's important to
Exactly.
capture it, yeah.
Yeah. And when you're booking a vacation home, are there certain things that you see in a listing that make you immediately say, "Oh, I wanna stay there," or that might make you move on to the next listing?
I mean, for me personally, it depends on the type of trip. So, what my goal is for that trip. Like, if it's a multi-family trip, there's been places we've stayed at, like with my brother and my parents, and having some activity or heart in the center, like a pool, or there's a poker table, or there's a big living room. So, thinking about where are we going to, like, all connect, and that's I'm going to want to see in a situation like that. And so, photos are really important to tell that story. Again, thinking about who's coming to this place, what are the kinds of moments or feelings or things that you want to happen. And so we saw this vacation home in Okanagan, and there was this cool poker table, and they had a hot tub, and it was all just designed in a way that I could imagine and visualize and put myself in that place right away. So I think that's one thing that I will look for. But when I'm looking for a place, whether it's with a girlfriend's trip or we've done a Flytographer team getaway to Palm Springs last February, and we got this place that was more of a compound, really, but everything was on the property. So they had a pool, they had a little pickleball court, they had a little pond with a hammock, they had meeting like areas to meet. And so when I thought about what are the things that I'm going to want to do there, and we kind of didn't want to have to leave a lot, it had all of those pieces, and the photos told the story. So it was really easy for me to make that decision.
Final question for you, Nicole. What do you think is one actionable tip that listeners or viewers can be more intentional this holiday season about creating and preserving their meaningful memories?
I would say if there's just one thing that you do, make a plan to capture a ritual with the people that matter to you. So, whether that's the dinner that you have together, whether it's again like a card game or you go on a walk together, make a plan in your head that this is the thing I'm going to capture. I'm going to get some photos. I'm going to be a mini director. I'm going to get some video vignettes and just start with that. And then make sure you print the ones that you love that come out of that and give it to the people that were there. Like it's that simple.
I love it. Nicole, thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thanks for listening to Second Home First. If you liked what you heard today, be sure to sign up for my free weekly newsletter at buyyoursecondhomefirst.com, where I share the simple 4-step strategy to help you do the same. If you have a minute to subscribe, rate, or review the show, or even send a favorite episode to a friend, that would mean the absolute world to me. And if you want to be a guest on the show, have a question you want answered, or a topic you think I should cover, send me a note at hello@buyyoursecondhomefirst.com or on social media at buyyoursecondhomefirst. I personally read and respond to every single message. Once again, I'm your host, Katie Klein, and I can't wait to see you all again next week. The content shared on Second Home First is for educational and informational purposes only. Please consult a licensed financial advisor before making any investment or financial decisions.